Hello. So now we're going to do this problem. Okay, let's read it together. So if Karla lends John $550 at 4% annual rate of simple interest for 5 months, 1. How much interest is Karla owed at the end of this period? And 2. If John pays this loan off at this time, how much does he pay in total? Right? How much does he give to Karla? So whenever we're going to do a simple interest problem, I recommend you write the formula first. So in order for the simple interest, the interest I is equal to the PRT. P stands for principal, and it's the amount on which the interest will be calculated, right? Here, Karla lends John $550, and so the P is going to be $550. Not to be confused with 550 Pizzeria, which is one of my favorite pizzeria joints in Laredo. Okay, but $550 is the principal. Okay, now the rate. This is the annual interest rate for the simple interest. In this case, it's 4%. But whenever we put it in the formula, we're going to put it as a decimal. In this case, 4% can be written as 0.04. I want you to notice that whenever you're writing the interest rate, you put it in decimal form. So for example, 4%, we move the decimal place, which we can see invisibly, it's here after the 4, so we move it 2 places to the left. So as a decimal, it'll be 0.04. If we were to write 4.5%, for example, this would be 0.045. Because again, I would take this decimal place and I would move it twice to the left. 1, 2. And I would have to put a 0 there. What if it was 12% simple interest? Then, moving the decimal place that is not written here, but which we know to be here, twice to the left, we would get 0.12. Okay, and then here, the time. Now, in our formula for our simple interest, we said that the time was in years, right? Here, they tell us that the simple interest is going to be calculated on 5 months. Karla is lending John this money for 5 months. Months is not years, right? Months is months. But the simple interest formula is in years. How do we reconcile that? Well, we know that there are 12 months in a year. And so in this case, we're going to write this as 5 divided by 12. This is 5/12 of a year. And now we're in a position to calculate the interest. Okay? Let me get rid of this like little discussion so we can go straight to the plugging in now. So this is going to equal, in other words, 550 times 0.04 times 5/12. Okay? Okay. So now I'm going to calculate these two first. So I get 550 times 0.04. 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 5 is 20. So I bring down the 0 and I carry the 2. 4 times 5 is 20. Plus 2 is 22. And then I know that in these two multiplicants, the numbers we're multiplying, there is 2 decimal places. So I take the decimal place here and I move it twice to give me the final answer here, which is 22. Okay, so I can rewrite this as 22 times 5/12. Okay, so now we have to calculate that. Okay, so 22 times 5/12. Can we do that? We cannot do it directly, right? What we can do is we can rewrite the 21 as a fraction by setting it as the numerator and 1 as the denominator. By the way, let me step in a little bit here. If you just wanted to get the interest and you had a calculator, you could put this in the calculator, okay? I'm just going through this hand calculation because I want to make sure you guys can see that because I think it's important to know how to do things by hand. Okay, so as I was saying, I want to multiply these two numbers. This is not a fraction, this is a fraction, so we can't do it directly. So we have to change the 22 into a fraction, and we can do that by setting it as the numerator and 1 as the denominator. So I can rewrite this as 22 over 1 times 5 over 12. Now here, there's a lot of things I could do. I'm going to go with the most simplistic thing, and that is when I want to multiply two fractions, I always multiply across, okay? The numerator with the numerator, the denominator with the denominator. Okay, so 22 times 5, I have to figure that out here. 22 times 5. 5 times 2 is 10. I bring down the 0, carry the 1. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 1 is 11, so that's 110. 110 on top. What's 1 times 12? 12. Now we're in business. Okay. So this product is 110 over 12. Okay. Now, I can divide the top and the bottom of this by 2, and that'll give us, the bottom will be 6, because 12 divided by 2 is 6. But what about 110? Oh, by the way, how did I know 110 could be divided by 2? Because the last digit is 0. And remember, whenever we have an integer, and the last digit is even or 0, then it's divisible by an even number. So if this had been 112, 114, 116, 118, or as it is here, 110, or any other number where the last digit is either 0 or even, 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, then we would know that that number was divisible by 2. So I'm going to divide 110 by 2. 2 goes into 110. How many times? 2 goes into 1, 0 times. 2 goes into 11, 5 times, because 5 times 2 is 10. 1 minus 0 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0, so I don't write it. I bring down this 10. You can see 2 goes into 10 5 times again. It'll be 10 here. When we subtract it, we get 0. So this is going to be 55. Now that we have written it like this, we're in a position to change it into a decimal. So what I'm going to do is to convert this into decimal, I'm going to do the long division. Okay, let me write that down here. Okay. So I want to ask how many times does 6 go into 55? So 6 goes into 5, 0 times. 6 goes into 55. How many times? We know that 6 times 8 is 48. 6 times 9 is 54. So it's going to be 9, and that's going to be 54. Okay? So 9 times 6 is 54. 5 minus 4, that's 1. 5 minus 5 is 0. So I have, so I can write this as 9 and 1 over 6. Okay? And then, let me see here. And then from there, I could leave it like that, or I can write it as a decimal. So let's continue. So usually, whenever I'm doing this, I will usually switch to a different color. Because I stopped here, right? Because I couldn't fit 6 into this anymore, and there was nothing I could drop anymore. Now, on the other hand, once I've gotten there, I can place a decimal point here, and now I can add a 0 there that wasn't there before. I can bring this down, and I can see, aha, this is going to be 6 goes into 10 one time. 1 times 6 is 6. I can now subtract that. I get 4. But because I've already added the decimal place, I can continue adding zeros whenever, one at a time, of course. Here, oh yeah, so that 0 is going to be here. I can now ask how many times 6 goes into 40. That's 6 times. That'll be 36. You can see I'm going to get a 4 again. And you can see that this is going to continue to be 6 forever, for as long as that continues. So this can be seen to be 9.16 with a decimal point on top. Or in other words, it's going to be, we're going to round up, because if you think about it, this is 16666 forever. So we'll round up to 9.17 for the hundredth place. So 9.17 approximately. Okay. And so now we're in a position to answer the question that we have posed. Okay. And what is that question? That question was, how much interest is Karla owed at the end of this period, at the end of this 5-month period? Karla is owed $9.17. So to answer question 1, Karla is owed 9.17 in interest at the end of 5 months. Okay. Okay. That's number 1. Now the second part of this question is, if John pays this loan off at this time, how much does he pay in total? Well, to answer that question, which is part 2, we know that he would have to pay her the original amount she lended him. John would have to pay Karla $550, and he would have to pay Karla the $9 in interest. So to find out how much he has to pay her back in total, we'll add that. So 550 plus $9.17 would give us John would give Karla $559.17 to settle the loan at the end of that 5-month period. I hope you've enjoyed this example, and I hope to see you again real soon. Thank you so much. You're still there? You're watching this video? Well, I hope you enjoyed it. In any case, if you did enjoy it, well, I encourage you to like it. Put that big thumbs up there. And don't hesitate and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And anyway, and also add a comment if you want me to cover up some particular topic. I can't make any promises. There's a huge list of topics I already want to cover, but time permitting, I may address that topic. And in any case, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and thank you again.